Hey, what's up guys, welcome to Cert Bros. In this video we're going to be looking at Syslog. Meet Bill. Bill is a network admin, and it's his job to manage and troubleshoot the network. Part of that job means searching through log files when things go wrong. This network is pretty small, so it's easy to keep on top of all of the log information. The problem is, as the business grew, so did the network. It got bigger and bigger and bigger. Now it's nearly impossible to keep on top of all of the network log information. So Bill decided to find a solution, and he discovered Syslog servers. A Syslog server allows all of his network devices to send their log information to one centralized place. The log messages will be sent on UDP port 514 to the Syslog server. From here, he can manage, search, and archive all of the log information. Okay, so I hope you liked my little story there. Using a Syslog server allows us to centrally manage our log information. Why would you want to do that? Well, there are a few reasons why. First, log information is very important when troubleshooting problems. Let's say a user reports a network outage. You can go through all of the log information to see if there were any problems. Another benefit of storing log information in a central place is data retention. Cisco devices, by default, store log information in RAM. This means when a device reboots, the logs are erased. Other vendors may write log information to disk, but network devices tend to have a small amount of storage available. Keeping all of your log information in one place allows for easy archiving. Okay, so now we know what a Syslog server is and why we use them, let's look at some log messages. This is a Syslog message. It will probably look familiar to you by now. It's the messages you see when configuring routers and switches. It may not seem like it straight away, but these messages follow an industry standard. This makes it easy to correlate logs from different vendors. The first part is the timestamp or sequence number. On Cisco devices, you can choose which one you want to use. The next part is called the facility. This shows the source of the message. Next, we have Severity. This shows you how urgent the log message is. Then we have something called the mnemonic. This is a code to identify the message. And finally, we have the description, which contains the log message. There are two key bits of information here that we need to look at further. These are facility and severity. First, let's look at the facility. Here is a table of all available facilities. Remember, the facility represents the process that generated the message. Because Syslog was adopted early by Unix systems, these facility codes are mostly Unix-based. For example, if a Unix kernel generated a message, the facility would be kern. If an authentication message was logged, the facility may show auth. You'll notice there aren't many network-related facilities. At the bottom, we have 16 to 23 local use. These are undefined custom values that are generally used for network devices. So the next and probably the most important bit of information here is the severity. Syslog has 8 severity levels, ranging from 0 to 7. The top is the most urgent, so severity is 0, and the bottom is the least urgent, which is 7 for debug messages. This is important because you likely don't want to send all log messages to your server. You can choose which messages are sent based on their severity. This way, your server doesn't get clogged up with messages you'd rather not see. Now, unfortunately, this is one of those tables you're going to have to memorize for your CCNA exam. You need to know not only the severity levels, but which order they're in. As with most of these things, mnemonics come to the rescue. A popular one is every awesome Cisco engineer will need ice cream daily. Another one I found was Ernie always cries even when no one is dying, which made me laugh probably more than it should. Okay, so now we've been over the theory, let's see it in action. Here is my computer. I'm running a program called Kiwi Syslog Server. There are lots of different Syslog servers out there. Some are free, some are paid. I'm using this one because it's free for up to 5 devices. As you can see, nothing is going on here. That's because we haven't configured anything. The first thing I'm going to do is go to File, Setup, scroll down to Inputs, and if you're doing this at home, you will need to input the IP address of the device you want to receive Syslog messages from. I've already entered the IP address of my Cisco router. After you've done that, just click OK. Our server is now ready to receive Syslog messages, but still, nothing is happening. We need to configure the router to send Syslog messages to the server. So I'll open the router, and you'll already see some familiar looking messages. These are Syslog messages showing when the router boots up. You'll notice the timestamps are completely wrong, so we'll need to fix that. It's recommended to use an NTP server to sync our time correctly, but in this example, I'll just set the time manually. I'm already in privileged exec mode, so I don't have to type enable. Now I'll type clock ? We only have one option here, and that is to set the clock manually. If I type clock set ? We can see that it asks for the hours, minutes, and seconds. It's 8:22, so I'll just type 08:22:00. It then wants the day and the month. I'll type 07 September. And if I press the question mark one more time, it asks us for the year. So I'll type good old 2020. When we hit enter, we're greeted with an information message telling us the clock has been changed. Now the time is set, we need to make sure it's included in the Syslog messages. To do this, we need to enter global configuration by typing configure terminal. Now I'll type service ? Lots of information here. The two main ones are sequence numbers and timestamps. Remember earlier when I said Syslog messages can either have a sequence number or a timestamp? Well, this is where we choose. I'll choose timestamps. And if I type ? We have the option for debugging and log messages. We want to change the log messages, so we'll type log. Again, ? And now we get the choice between date time or system uptime. Of course, we want the date time, so we type date time. The last few options here, if we choose MSEC, then it will include the milliseconds in the timestamp. This can be very handy when troubleshooting. Hit enter, and now the timestamps are set. We're now ready to tell the router to send log messages to our Syslog server. First, we tell the router where to send the logs. We do this with the command logging and then the IP address of our server. In my case, it's 192.168.0.1. Now we need to choose which logs to send. If I type logging again, but this time with a question mark, we'll see lots of options. The one I want is trap. The description says set syslog server logging level. So we type logging trap, and to see the levels, we type a question mark. Here we choose the severity of logs we want to send. In this example, we're going to choose informational. An important note here is that whichever level you choose, it will send those logs as well as the logs with a higher severity. So we've chosen informational, which is level 6. The router will send all log messages with a severity of 0 to 6. The last thing I need to do is configure the IP address. So I'll type interface, fast Ethernet, 0/0, then IP address 192.168.0.1. 255.254 and a subnet mask of 255.255.255.0. And I'll bring the interface up by typing no shutdown. Now our router is configured and waiting to send some log messages. We just need to generate some logs. To do this, I'll just exit here, go into another interface, and this time it will be fast Ethernet 0/1, and type no shutdown. Our router will generate some logs saying the interface is now up. I'll now shut it down again to generate a few more. If we now go back to our Syslog server, we can now see our router's logs. From here, we could search, filter, and correlate all of our log messages. This video is part of the full CCNA course, which can be found in the description, so please feel free to go and check that out. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, and subscribe. The support from you guys really helps this channel grow. Other than that, thank you for watching.